Stanza 2. We already talked about Jumshed in the note to stanza 2 of poem 2, but he was the fourth king of the first or Pishdadian dynasty, and is supposed to have flourished 800 years before the Christian era. Ferdowsi says he reigned 700 years. Kekobad was the founder of the second dynasty, the Kayanian. He was set upon the throne by the hero Rustam, son of Zal. It was in his reign that Rustum overcame Afrasiab's army, killing his own son in the battle. By the great Oxus stream, the yellow Oxus, a story which all readers of Matthew Arnold know. Kekobad is said to have reigned 100 years and 20. Bahman, another member of the Kayanian house, was better known to the Persians as Ardashir. Dirazdast, the Artaxerxes Longimanus of the Greeks, he came to the throne in 464 BCE. He was the grandson of Darius, the Persian Gushtasp. He is supposed to have been the Ahasuerus of Scripture who married Esther. Persian historians ascribe to him also remarkable longevity and state that he reigned 112 years. Kekaus, mentioned in the next stanza, was the son of Kekobad, the second king of the Kayanian dynasty. K may be Khusro, the third king of the same dynasty. Esther is said to have been such and such historical figure that orchestrated a genocidal campaign that killed 78,000 something people. Stanza 3. The loves of Berhad and Shirin are famous in Persian legend. Shirin is called by some Mary and by some others Irene. The Greeks describe her as a Roman by birth and a Christian. The Turks and Persians say that she was the daughter of Emperor Maurice and a wife of Khusro, Parviz, who came to the Persian throne in 591 of the Common Era. It was Khosrow Parviz who conquered Jerusalem and carried off, says the Persians, the true cross, which had been enclosed in a gold box and buried in the ground. He was devoutly attached to his wife, Shirin, but she had given her heart to her humble lover, Berhad, he despairing of ever reaching one whose rank had placed her so far above him. Wandered through the deserts of the mountains of Persia, calling upon her name, and in order to beguile his weary hours, executed the sculptures upon the rock Behestun, so says the legend. At length the king sent to him and told him that if he would cut through the rock and cause a stream upon the other side of the mountains to flow through it, he would relinquish Shirin to him. Berhad set himself to the task, and had almost accomplished it when Khusro sent him the false news of Shirin's death. On hearing it, Berhad threw himself from the top of the rock and so died. Shirin's end was scarcely less tragic. Khusro Parviz was put to a violent death by his son, who proceeded to make proposals of marriage to his father's widow. Shirin promised to marry him if he would allow her to see once more her husband's corpse. She was led to the place where the murdered king lay, and drawing a dagger, she stabbed herself and fell dead across his body. It is difficult to conceive anything more exquisite than the little scarlet tulip growing on a barren Persian hillside. On the top of a bleak pass over the mountains between Resht and Tehran, I've seen companies of tiny tulips shining like jewels among the dust and stones. There is a tradition that this poem was sent to the king of Golconda, and no committing suti None of that. Or whatever you call it in your language. Don't do that.